product to life. So from the initial design to actually getting it delivered to your doorstep. And that's what Trading Asia aims to be. And they're also really committed to ethical sourcing, which is a big deal these days. And they're even developing some custom software to kind of make the whole sourcing process like more efficient. So I think you're going to find this really interesting. Let's jump right in. We've got an expert here to help us like unpack all this. What stands out to you about Trading Asia right off the bat?
Well, they're based in Noida, which is in India, and it's like a major business hub over there. But the thing that really caught my eye was they have this ISO 9001.2NE15 certification. And you don't see that with every sourcing company. And it really tells you they're serious about quality management and have the processes in place to like meet international standards. It's not just some fly-by-night operation, you know. They're really invested in delivering consistent, reliable products and services. And that kind of peace of mind is invaluable when you're sourcing from overseas.
Yeah, it's like a stamp of approval. That tells you they've got their act together. And they actually call themselves your best source for sourcing Asia. And their client list is pretty impressive, too. It ranges from like these big hypermarkets to smaller e-commerce startups. So they're clearly working with a lot of different types of businesses. But what can they actually source? Like what kind of products are we talking about here?
Oh, their product list is extensive. Garments are a big focus. So everything from high fashion to casual wear, sportswear, lingerie, beachwear, you name it. But they also source fashion accessories, gifts, home textiles, you know, like bedding and towels, leather goods, corporate gifts, even packaging.
Whoa, so if you can imagine it, they can probably source it. It sounds like they cover pretty much everything. But they offer more than just sourcing, right? What else sets them apart?
Well, that's what's really fascinating here. They're positioning themselves as like a one-stop shop for everything you need when sourcing from Asia. They don't just connect you with a factory and call it a day. They really act as like an extension of your business in India. So they offer a complete suite of services, from designing your product to handling the logistics of getting it shipped to you.
So let's break those services down a bit. First up, you've got product sourcing. So what's their approach there? I mean, anyone can find a supplier online these days, right? What makes Trading Asia different?
Well, it's not just about finding any supplier. It's about finding the right supplier for your specific needs. So, you know, do you prioritize cost effectiveness? Do you need a supplier with like specific certifications or one that specializes in a certain style or manufacturing process? They really take the time to understand your requirements and then match you with factories that are just the perfect fit. It's about minimizing headaches and ensuring a smooth, successful experience.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, what about design and development? Let's say I have like a product idea, but I don't have the design skills to like bring it to life. Can they help with that?
Absolutely. That's where their in-house design team comes in. And they have designers straight from top design schools in India, like NIFT and Pearl Academy. So whether you have like a rough concept or just need some help refining an existing design, they can work with you to really make your vision a reality.
Okay, so we've got the product design and we've got the right supplier lined up. What happens next? How do they handle like production and quality control? That seems pretty crucial when you're sourcing from overseas.
Absolutely, and they've got a really solid system in place. So they monitor production regularly, they keep you updated on the progress.
Yeah.
And for quality control, they have a 3-stage inspection process: initial, mid-production, and final, to catch any issues early on.
That sounds pretty thorough, but what if I have like really specific quality standards or I want to use my own testing lab? Can they accommodate that?
Absolutely. They're very flexible, and they understand that different buyers have different needs. So they're happy to work with your nominated labs for independent testing, and they issue their own quality inspection certificates based on AQL levels.
Okay, so they're really trying to cover all the bases there. All right, last step, logistics. Once the product is made and passes inspection, how does it actually get to me?
So this is where Trading Asia really shines as that one-stop shop. They handle all the logistics. So that means international shipping, customs clearance, all the paperwork, everything. You don't have to worry about any of the complexities of getting your products from Asia to your warehouse.
That's peace of mind right there. You can just relax and know that your products are being taken care of. But there's more, right? We need to talk about those unique selling points, the things that really make Trading Asia stand out.
Exactly. And I think the most important one, especially in today's world, is their commitment to ethical trade practices.
Right. They mentioned ethical sourcing, but what does that actually look like in practice? What are they doing differently?
Well, they're going beyond just talking the talk. They conduct regular social compliance audits of their partner factories to ensure fair labor practices and safe working conditions. They even invest in worker skill development programs, which shows they're committed to having like a positive impact on the people who are making these products.
So it's not just about ticking boxes, they're actually trying to make a real difference. That's impressive.
And they align themselves with internationally recognized ethical sourcing standards, like SA 8000, CEDX, and BSCI. These aren't just buzzwords. They represent real frameworks for ensuring responsible and sustainable sourcing practices.
So they're backing up their claims with concrete actions. That's good to hear. You mentioned this idea earlier of Trading Asia being like your team in India. Can you kind of elaborate on that a bit? What does that actually mean for someone working with them?
Well, they want to be more than just a middleman. They want to be like a true partner, like a seamless extension of your business in India. So imagine having people on the ground who understand the local market, who speak the language, who can navigate the complexities of manufacturing and exporting in Asia. That's what they offer.
It's like having your own dedicated team in India, without the overhead of setting up your own office.
Exactly. They're your eyes and ears. Communicating with factories, overseeing production, managing quality control, making sure everything runs smoothly. You don't have to deal with the hassles of time zones and cultural differences. They take care of all of that for you.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you also teased this innovative online software earlier. What's that all about?
This is where things get really interesting. So they're developing these customized online platforms for their clients. And it's for tracking orders, production progress, shipments, all in real time.
So no more like endless email chains or frantic phone calls trying to figure out where your order is.
You got it. It provides complete transparency, up-to-date information for everyone involved, streamlines communication, minimizes delays, reduces the potential for errors. It's like having a virtual control tower for your entire sourcing operation.
That's a fantastic concept. It shows they're really thinking ahead and using technology to make the whole process more efficient. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here. Let's take a quick pause before we dive into their strengths and weaknesses. Welcome back. We've been digging into this company profile for Trading Asia, and they're really positioning themselves as like a one-stop solution for sourcing from Asia, all while emphasizing ethical practices.
Yeah, and it seems like they're backing up their claims with some pretty solid actions.
Agreed. But in the spirit of a truly deep dive, I think we need to look at both sides of the coin here. What are some of the strengths that stand out to you? And what are some potential weaknesses or challenges they might face?
Okay, well, their deep understanding of the Asian sourcing landscape is a definite strength. They have this strong network of vetted suppliers across various product categories, and they really know the ins and outs of working in different Asian countries.
Yeah, and they don't just throw a list of suppliers at you and wish you luck. They actually take the time to understand your needs and match you with the right partners.
Right, exactly. It's about finding a good fit. And their in-house design team is a big plus, too. Not every sourcing company offers that level of creative support. So that's a real advantage for businesses that might not have their own design team.
Yeah, it opens up a lot of possibilities for developing custom products. Another strength I see is their focus on transparency and communication. They seem to be all about keeping you informed throughout the entire process.
Yeah, definitely. And their commitment to ethical trade practices is a major differentiator. They're not just chasing the lowest price. They're prioritizing responsible sourcing and fair labor practices. And that's something consumers are increasingly paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a smart move for Trading Asia and for the businesses that work with them.
Yeah, it's not just a feel-good thing, it's a business advantage. Okay, so let's flip the script for a moment and talk about potential weaknesses. What are some challenges they might encounter?
One potential challenge I see is managing the complexity of sourcing from multiple countries across Asia. Each country has its own regulations, cultural norms, logistical considerations. It takes a lot of coordination to maintain consistency and quality across a diverse supplier network like that.
Yeah, it's a balancing act for sure. They have to make sure their partners in, say, Vietnam are operating at the same high standards as their partners in India.
Exactly. And as they grow and take on more clients, scaling their operations while maintaining that personal touch is going to be crucial. They need to make sure that every client feels like a priority, not just a number.
That's the classic growing pain, right? How do you get bigger without losing what made you special in the first place? What about their reliance on this online WIP software? I mean, it sounds great, but isn't any technology-dependent system vulnerable to glitches or outages?
Yeah, that's a valid concern. They need to have robust backup systems in place to make sure that a technical problem doesn't disrupt their operations or their clients' businesses. And they might need to provide some additional support or training for clients who aren't as tech savvy. Not everyone is comfortable managing their sourcing through an online platform.
So it's a double-edged sword. Technology can be a powerful tool, but it also introduces new challenges. Overall, it seems like Trading Asia has a lot going for them, but they also have some hurdles to overcome. What are your thoughts on their commitment to ethical sourcing? Do you think that's something they can truly deliver on, especially given the complexities of global supply chains?
It's definitely a complex issue, and there's no easy answer. The fact that they're aligning themselves with those established ethical sourcing standards, like SA 8000, CEDEX, and DSCI, is a good sign. These standards provide frameworks for things like fair wages, safe working conditions, and environmental responsibility. But it's not just about checking boxes. They need to be proactive about monitoring their supply chain and addressing any issues that arise.
So it's an ongoing process, not a one-time fix.
Exactly. And they need to be transparent about their efforts. Consumers are becoming more discerning, more demanding when it comes to ethical sourcing. So Trading Asia needs to be able to back up its claims with evidence.
It sounds like transparency is key here, both for Trading Asia and for the businesses that choose to work with them.
Absolutely. Transparency builds trust. And trust is essential in any business relationship, especially when you're sourcing products from halfway across the world.
It's about building a partnership based on shared values and a commitment to doing things the right way.
And that's something that can benefit everyone involved, from the factory workers to the end consumers.
Well said. Now let's shift gears and talk about what all of this means for you, the listener. Welcome back to the show. We've spent this deep dive, really getting to know Trading Asia. And I'm curious, what do you think about their vision for the future? Like, what are some key takeaways our listeners can apply to their own sourcing strategies, whether they're, seasoned pros or just starting out?
Well, one big takeaway for me is the importance of finding sourcing partners who share your values. Trading Asia really emphasizes building these strong, long-term relationships and acting as like an extension of your team, not just a transactional middleman.
So it's about more than just getting the lowest price. You want a partner who's invested in your success and committed to working with you for the long haul.
Exactly. And Trading Asia's focus on ethical sourcing really reinforces that, Like, doing good can be good for business. Consumers are looking for products made responsibly and sustainably. And companies that ignore that are going to get left behind. So partnering with a company like Trading Asia can actually give you a competitive edge and boost your brand reputation.
It's not just a trend, it's a fundamental shift in how people are thinking about the products they buy. We also talked about how Trading Asia is using technology, specifically their online WIP software, to make the sourcing process more efficient and transparent. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a smart move. Technology can be incredibly powerful when it comes to streamlining communication and improving efficiency. And this type of software can give buyers a real-time view of their orders, their production progress, shipments, which helps minimize delays and errors.
It takes a lot of the guesswork out of the process. Now, before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on Trading Asia's vision for the future. Like, what excites you the most, and what are you most curious to see unfold as they continue to grow?
Well, what excites me is their potential to really shake things up in the sourcing industry. They're not afraid to challenge the status quo and try new things. And I think their combination of ethical sourcing practices and innovative technology could have a real ripple effect. Like, throughout the whole industry, it's like they're planting seeds of change that could lead to a more responsible and sustainable way of sourcing products.
I agree, they're definitely a company to watch. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Trading Asia. We've explored their unique approach to sourcing, their commitment to ethical practices, and their vision for a more transparent and sustainable future.
Sourcing from Asia doesn't have to be overwhelming. With the right partner, it can be an exciting opportunity to tap into a world of possibilities.
So if you're looking to source products from Asia, keep Trading Asia on your radar. Whether you're a seasoned importer or just starting out, remember to prioritize those ethical practices, embrace innovation, and never stop learning. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.